Hey there friends, how's it going? It's Kai. We are going to be doing a quick but zesty hip mobilizing and strengthening workout today. Okay, so you might want to have a blanket that has a really clean edge, like it's folded so that these edges are nice and tidy, handy for the very end when we do our squats. So if you'd like to put something underneath your heels, I recommend grabbing a blanket for that. Okay, so you can just set that up at the top edge of your mat and spin around, and we're actually going to start lying on our back today. Okay, so you're going to have your spine nice and long on your mat, your knees are bent, and your heels are little kind of directly under your knees. Okay, so we don't want our heels too close to our bum for this one. And we're going to start off here just gently clocking the pelvis. We're flattening our lower back and then inhale, floating so that the tailbone lengthens down. And then exhale, flattening our lower back into the mat and inhale, floating forward. And we're not trying to control this too much. We're really just allowing this motion to occur and letting the legs be involved. Sometimes we just do this with our abdominals more, but we're just allowing whatever to kind of create this motion. We're mobilizing a little bit more right now. And then you're going to just rotate to one side and then the other. So you're just pressing one hip down and the other hip is lifting up like there's a seesaw or a teeter-totter at your hips. Good. And then we're going to make that into a circle. So you're rolling around the outside edge of your sacrum. If you like the clock analogy, it's like there's a clock on the back of your pelvis, and you're pressing each hour down one by one into the mat. Just taking 2 more circles in this direction, really noticing how this feels. And then reverse the circle. Beautiful. Just breathing and relaxing. Good. And then coming back to center. Fabulous. From here, we're going to do some knee drops. So we're going to think about keeping our pelvis nice and steady, nice and neutral. Hips are level. And we're going to float one knee out to the side as we breathe in. And then exhale, pulling back in. Inhale, floating out, and exhale, pulling back in. Good. Breathing in. So noticing I'm staying really steady. My ribs and my pelvis are definitely staying, communicating through this whole sequence. And I'm just allowing some motion to occur in the hips. Beautiful. Now we're going to press into our heels to lift our hips up into a nice long line, and then inhale, tap it down, and exhale, lift back up. Good. So we're pressing our heels down through the ground, and we're also sending our knees forward over our toes. We tap, and then we lift. Good. Keep pressing into the back of the arms as well to open up the chest, deepening those abdominals as you lift up. Fabulous. We're going to do 3 more here, and 2, and 3. Then we're going to hold and just do little pulses at the top, making sure that now the thighs are staying connected towards each other. They're not touching, but they're not opening out. And we're just making little tiny pulses here, really high at the gluteal fold. Beautiful. And then just lower the hips down. Pull the knees into the chest and first roll around. So you're going to make a nice little circle with both legs. Good. And then rolling in the opposite direction. Good. And then from there, you're actually going to open the legs, and you're really using your arms to do this. So my hands are on my knees, and these are called knee stirs. And you're stirring your thigh with your hands, letting the thigh just kind of roll around in the socket, and then you're going to reverse the circle. Good. Nice. Okay, so then you're going to lower your legs down, and we're actually going to roll to our side from there. So you can bend your elbow or put your head under a pillow if you'd rather have a pillow there. Just make your head nice and comfortable, and then you're going to reach the top side long. So my feet are lined up with the bottom of my pelvis, and I'm just going to reach this top leg long, and then exhale, rotate the thigh out again. So we're taking those clam shells, scooping these abdominals, and feeling support from the back. So there's work happening all around. Good. And just allowing the thigh to rotate, keeping our hips stacked and level. So we don't want the hips to roll back, and we want to stay nice and connected here. Then we're going to stretch one leg long and then float the thigh up and then lower down. So once again, I am keeping my top hip lengthening towards my foot. It's like I'm sending energy out my foot as I lengthen out. Good. Instead of allowing my waist to kind of roll as I'm doing this. So my leg won't lift as high as I might think it should, but when you do that with isolation, you'll really feel this outside hip starting to get very warm. Good. And then you're going to stretch the bottom leg long and just lift the bottom leg. Good. Tapping up to meet the top leg, which is hovering and holding. Beautiful. Good. And so we're going to now feel the outer hip of the top leg and the inner thigh of the bottom leg. Good. 2 more. Beautiful. Lower down. Give yourself a little pat out, and then we're going to roll to the other side. Okay. So lining the feet up with the booty, and then the spine is in line with the booty as well. And we're going to stretch this top hip long into clams. So we're just exhale, rotating out, really staying nice and stable, just like we're balancing something up on that top hip. Exhale, rotate. Good. And just imagining how the femur bone, the thigh is rolling in the socket joint, that ball and socket joint that has so much mobility. This is a great exercise for helping to just really get in touch with all of that. Beautiful. Good. And then you're going to stretch the top leg long, and we're going to hover the leg up and then lower down. Lovely. And exhale. Good. And so once again, the energy is really lengthening out your heel. You're going to keep reaching long and keep this top side very long as you go. Beautiful. And just keep breathing. If you lose track of your breath, that's okay. You just want to reconvene, keep going. Beautiful. And then you're going to hover the leg, stretch the bottom leg long now, and then pull the bottom leg up to meet the top leg. Beautiful. Keep deepening those abdominals. Keep breathing, noticing any sensations you might be feeling. You can bring the top arm down to the mat to stabilize, to help stabilize you. You want to make sure you have a light touch. Good. And just lifting that inner thigh, pulling it up. This could feel very different side to side, and that's okay. Good. Just notice without judgment. Good. 1 more. Woo! And just go ahead and rub it out. Beautiful. Now we're going to roll to our back. And the first side that was on top, you're going to cross over, and we're just going to do a nice little figure 4 stretch here. So I've got my hands holding onto my thighs, and I am reaching through and just pulling my legs up, and I'm going to roll gently side to side here. You might find that just resting your foot on the ground with the leg crossed over is plenty stretch, and if that's the case, that's great. Or you can bring the thigh up, and you're just stretching through the back of the hip now. Beautiful. Okay. So we're going to lower down, and we're going to switch to the other side. Good. And just floating up into your nice little figure 4, flexing the foot that's stretching, right? So the leg that's on top, you can pull those toes back And that can really help give your knee some support. So if you feel any knee tension, that is a really great thing to try. Good. And we're just breathing here, noticing how this feels side to side. Fabulous. Good. Okay. And then from there, we're going to bring ourselves up and we're going to come around into a nice long plank position here. And then we're just going to pike our hips up to come into a downward dog. So from this position, you're pushing off on your arms and your heels are reaching towards the mat, and you're just going to walk the dog. So bend one knee and then the other, and allow the back of the leg to stretch here. Good. Keep breathing. Fabulous. Now from here, we're going to go ahead, press both legs down, breathe, and then we're going to step 1 foot forward, right on the outside of our foot. And we're just going to take a nice, outside of our hand, and we're going to take a nice little lunge stretch here, okay? So you could have the back knee down if that feels better to you. And let's all go ahead and lower it for a moment. And then we're going to take the hand that's closest to our foot, and we're going to lift up into a rotation and breathe. Good. And then you're going to bring yourself back up and return to your plank. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're just going to step the foot forward. You might need to help it. That's totally okay. And then you're going to lower the knee gently in the back. Inhale, float the arm up. Breathe in. Good. And then coming back. Now you're going to go ahead and grab your blanket and make it so that you can place, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take that clean edge and place it away from you. And let's go ahead and bring you back. Here we go. So then we're going to take our plank and we're going to bring 1 foot forward and actually place it onto the blanket, okay? So just like what we were doing before, and then you're going to come forward and place the other foot on the blanket. So the heels are on the blanket, and then you're going to bring yourself down into your squat position. Okay, so I'm going to move mine so that you can see it a little better. You're basically going to end up with your heels on the blanket in a squat. Your elbows are pushing into your knees. Your back is long. Good. And you're going to hold here and breathe. Press those elbows into the knees. Press the knees into the elbows. We're trying to make a nice long line through our back. Breathe in. And exhale, release. And one more breath in. Very gently, go ahead and lower yourself down. Fabulous. And then go ahead and find a nice, comfortable seat. Good job. I hope your hips feel more open and strong and connected. And I will be talking to you soon. Have a fabulous, beautiful day. Bye.